Hey friends, and welcome back. My name is Jen Fetzer. I am a self-taught artist, and in today's video we're doing a simple scene. Something that I do to try and help myself when I maybe don't have as much time in the week to paint or do a scene is I paint ghosts. One, they're adorable, at least the ones that I paint. Of course you can have ones that are not. And also because they're so simplistic and easy to draw and create, it kind of makes an easier illustration. And I find that's really helpful to get yourself painting after work if you have other responsibilities. Maybe you're a parent or you're in school, something that takes up a lot of time. You can create art still and make paintings, but sometimes you have to think of it logistically. And so for me, something I do is just I come up with these really simplified characters, and I also do a simplified scene. You can see the foreground I'm painting right now is a very simplified bush, and again, another one. This was so easy to paint. It was just a block of color that I filled in, and ta-da, it's a bush. Anybody can recognize it. It's simplified, as I stated. And again, we have some more shrubbery in the background. And I actually go back in with my eraser and take out these mountains. I decided I didn't have the time to do more layers and different colors. This was a very busy week for me. Monday was a bit of a chaotic day. My son started a new summer camp, and so, there are the logistics of that. And then we also had a work celebration on Monday for my friend Carly and coworker, her birthday. We do birthdays pretty big at work. It's always a big celebration, so I had to prepare some food and get stuff ready for that as well. There were some other things as well, life-wise, going on. It just made it a very chaotic week, so it was nice just to relax to a simplified painting rather than getting something more in-depth and detailed. I did end up doing a couple coats on the background, the purple sky. I was trying to do a scene at nighttime. These ghosts are out on a little midnight date type situation. But I didn't show the double layer of painting in the video because you already saw me paint it once. It's kind of boring, I feel like, to see me just paint a solid color twice for the same thing. So I didn't add that in. Are you ready for a ghost story? Sorry, I don't know why I said it like that. Anyways, let me tell you about this one time I went hiking with my friend Zach. We went to a forest. It was maybe 20 or 30 minutes away from State College or Penn State main campus, and it was called Arrtx State Forest. And there was some sort of situation. I don't remember now if it was a flood, a forest fire, or what happened, but some sort of natural event, or maybe not completely natural, where a lot of the people a couple hundred years ago passed away, and it's one of those areas that is known to be somewhat haunted. There are a fair amount of them in Pennsylvania. Gettysburg is probably the most popular, or I guess well known. Anyways, we went to this park and we went to go hiking, and this was the early 2000s, Y2K era, and I was wearing a tank top, spaghetti strap, pretty common for that time, and we walked under this furnace. There are these rocks structures, I guess, that they used to use to burn wood or to turn into a furnace for, I guess, maybe metal. I'm not entirely sure. Maybe I should have researched this more before telling you the ghost story, because we are getting way off track. Anyways, I walked through and I felt something fall from the ceiling. A little piece of rock fell off and it went like right in between my cleavage. Kind of weird. But we also, we took the opportunity to get some photographs, and my friend took a picture of me while I was under there. And later, when we were looking at the photo, there is an ominous figure standing behind me, like a shrouded, dark, and like not just physically, but you could feel it. You could feel the energy of it. It was a very dark sort of energy. And we didn't realize at that point in time, but we started walking and got off on our hike, and we went like maybe 10-15 minutes, and we both just were like, this feels weird. Like the energy was off, and we decided to turn around actually, and we went back home. I think we went out to eat instead or did something different. But it was such a surreal experience just because of the way the energy felt, the thing with the falling piece of rock that went right in between my cleavage, which, in the time that the individuals at that area, they would have passed away, I'm sure I looked like a complete harlot to them, but it was normal clothing for the 2000s. And yeah, it was just really weird. And all of her photographs had like these light sort of reflections in them and images, but the one was so clearly, it looked like a person standing behind me in this dark, gloomy image. Anyways, that's my ghost story. Do you have any? Let me know in the comments. I always find it interesting to hear people's ghost stories, or if you don't believe in them all, feel free to let me know that as well. For this painting, I am primarily using Holbein Acrylic Gouache as well as Liquetex Acrylic Gouache. They are the same thing, they just have slightly different names, but essentially acrylic gouache. It is a matte drying acrylic paint, and I really love matte finished paint. There's just something about it that speaks to me. And later on, oh, here we go, acrylic marker set. These also dry matte, and they are the Arrtx brand. I really enjoy this brand. They're my favorite right now. I started out with paint markers I was all about Posca, but I'm really, really loving Arrtx at the moment. They are my go-to. And as you can see, they've made filling in all these tiny details really easy and quick. So I also, after this, am going to use some colored pencils. So I guess you could call this a mixed media piece. I am layering the colors on the wine bottle to get the exact shade of green that I want, because I didn't really have a color that I felt looked like a wine bottle green, if that makes sense. And I'm just adding in some details with a color pencil, and naturally I made a mistake because every time I film for YouTube I make a major mistake. Good thing I'm always just working in my sketchbooks where you are supposed to be making your mistakes. You probably thought I was close to done, but I decided to go ahead and add some little nocturnal eyeballs in all of the bushes to give this a little bit more of a spooky vibe to it. It would be pretty weird if you saw all of these eyes watching you on a midnight date, I must admit. But overall, I think this concept turned out really cute, and I really enjoyed this painting. It probably took me 2 hours to create and then another 3 to edit, because I did run into some issues editing. but total this painting took about 2 hours to do. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to another one of my videos. I'll see you next week in the next one. Bye!